CCNA or Network Plus? Which one should you get? Let's find out. So Network Plus or CCNA, which one's better? Should you get one? Should you get the other? Should you get both? I happen to have both, so I'll talk a little bit about what each one did for me and what I think about both of the certificates. So your Network Plus is a basic entry-level vendor-neutral certificate. CCNA, as you know, is the Cisco specific one. The thing about it, in my opinion, is if you're brand new to not only just networking, but IT in general, the CCNA might be a little bit overwhelming at first. It definitely can be done. When I first started to study IT in 2018, I initially started with CCNA because I was reading everywhere online and everybody says, you know, if you're serious about networking, if you want the respected cert, just go straight into CCNA. That's the kind of person I am, so I wanted to go straight into it. I bought the official certification guide. I started carrying it around with me everywhere. I was trying to read it, and I'll tell you the first chapter or two, and I was like, man, what? Like, am I ever going to understand this stuff? It's pretty dry. And I've come to be a huge fan of the Cisco press books and the official certification guides because of how technical and in-depth they get. But for a brand new beginner, especially somebody who's not had a lot of experience even with computers at all, say like gaming or maybe making music or doing, you know, editing pictures or something like that, for someone coming from that background, it's going to be really hard to just jump straight into CCNA, but it definitely can be done. Now, the Network Plus, on the other hand, is a lot more beginner friendly, and it's also vendor neutral. So it's not geared specifically towards Cisco. The thing about the Network Plus is it's not really going to impress too many people in the bigger companies. If you're looking to get a job and say like a help desk at a smaller managed service provider or something like that, the Network Plus might get you in the door. And my opinion on the CompTIA certs is you're not getting these certs to really, impress anybody or say you have any level of expertise in anything. It's just to show that you have an interest, and not only do you have an interest, you're willing to invest in it. You're willing to spend time. You can complete something that you set your mind out to. It's a really good thing just to have on your resume, just to show that you're dedicated and you can accomplish something. If you're in school, if you're in college, I'm not sure if this applies for high school as well. And I'm actually not sure if they're even still doing it because I got mine back in 2018 and 2019, all of my CompTIA certs. But they have a student discount where I think you can get the certificate for like half off or something like that. If you go and you look on their website for student vouchers, you can get a discount. In my mind, if you're studying something already, you might as well go ahead and take the certification test and, validate your knowledge. Now, that being said, you're not going to jump straight into a network engineer job with the Network Plus. There are people out there in the field who straight up don't respect the cert, think it's garbage, think it's a waste of time. And for getting a job and for proving yourself to like a network veteran, maybe that's true. But for the feeling of accomplishment you're going to get with the Network Plus and the introduction to the entry-level networking concepts and theory you're going to get, I think it's good for a brand new beginner. Now, that being said, if you're the type of person and you know this stuff is for you and you know you can put your mind to something and you can stick with it, I would say maybe just go straight to the CCNA. If you're looking at the money aspect of it and you don't have money to get both, definitely just go for the CCNA if you feel like you can do it. Now, there's a lot of resources out there that you can look at for free to determine if you think CCNA is kind of at your level or not. Or you could buy the official certification guides, and if you decide, hey, this is a little bit much for me, I'm going to take it back to a more beginner-friendly cert like the Network Plus, you're going to go to the CCNA later as long as you stick with networking, and you can still use those books. So in my mind, one is not necessarily better than the other. Yes, of course, the CCNA is way more respected. Yes, the CCNA is way more difficult. But the thing is, the Network Plus is not useless. And if you're a college student and you're trying to just show that you have an interest, maybe get an internship or something like that, and the Network Plus is perfect for that. The CCNA is, again, more challenging to get, more respected. I'm not sure on the price right now. I think it may be a little bit more expensive as well. But like I said, look into different vouchers and programs that you can get through your school. If you're working anywhere currently, ask your employer if they'll reimburse you if you pass, things like that. Now, in terms of jobs, what did they do for me? Well, I got all 3 of my CompTIA certs in a short period of time. And I finished the last 2 years of my degree in 1.5 years. So in that 1.5 years, I got all 3 of the CompTIA certs, the A+, the Network Plus, and the Security Plus. So how I spun it wasn't necessarily, oh, I'm such an expert now, I have all the CompTIA certs. It was more of, look what I've accomplished in this short period of time. When I put my mind to something, I can accomplish it. If I set out to do a task, I can complete it. So I kind of spun it more in that way. And then also, hey, yeah, I have exposure. I have a base level knowledge of all of these different kind of concepts. So out of college, I ended up getting a job in a managed service provider type environment. It was I won't say it was a small company. It was a medium company. I'm from a small place originally, Salisbury, Maryland. And these 3 certs, as well as the way I had my resume and all this kind of stuff, helped me to get my first job. And that first job was great. It had a very good salary for an entry-level job. It did have benefits. They provided a company vehicle, all these kind of different things. And it was a really great place to work and jumpstart my career. So once I got those certs out of the way and I was working, I continued my studies for the CCNA. Then I ended up getting hired for Cisco, and I didn't actually have the CCNA when I got hired for Cisco. They gave me the opportunity to get the CCNA before it changed over, so I ended up getting the composite. And so I can't really speak to what kind of job I could get with just the CCNA. But having those 3 CompTIA certs definitely helped me get an internship in college and get my first job out of college, which I worked for about 8 months. I also think that it played a big role in my interviews because, like I said, it gave me something to talk about. Everybody knows that the Network Plus is, as well as the other CompTIA certs, are just entry-level certs. So it's not necessarily about, oh, I have this cert, I'm an expert. Like I said multiple times already, it's more about, hey, I'm dedicated to this field. I'm dedicated to myself. I'm willing to invest and I can accomplish a task. So no, it's not worthless in that sense. So in conclusion, I like the Network Plus for its simplicity. I think it's a really good introduction to all of the different concepts and the theory of networking in general for a beginner, especially somebody who's very new to IT and trying to get their feet wet. CCNA is obviously more in-depth, more respected, more difficult. And it's definitely something you should set your eyes on. But I don't think the Network Plus is a useless cert. You'll see guys online saying, don't even waste your time. And like I said, if you're very motivated, if you're on top of your game and you're limited in your resources or whatever, maybe you can just jump straight to the CCNA. But I think the discouragement you might get from trying to jump into something as complicated as the CCNA without experience, it may be discouraging. So the little sense of accomplishment you might get from getting something like the Network Plus or say the A+ or something like that, it might motivate you to keep going. So one's not necessarily better than the other. CCNA is definitely more respected. You should definitely set your sights on CCNA for the long run, but Network Plus is not useless in my opinion. I do feel that it helped me in my career, and that would be my advice for you. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Especially if you're a hiring manager, let me know, let the community know what you think of these certifications. And until the next video, I'll see you on the next Tip Tuesday. Thanks for watching.